What's up, everybody? The Boxing Source here. And listen, it looks like we've had a purse bid extravaganza here, today, so to speak. I guess what we're at September 3rd, 2024. And well, the IBF has been involved with a number of things that have been going on in the sport of boxing, particularly with what has been going on with the welterweight division. And now we had discussed this particular topic here on the Boxing Source over the past few days. And well, the IBF had did the purse bid for the IBF Welterweight Championship. And yes, Jerome Boots Ennis is the IBF Welterweight Champion, and the IBF named Karen Chukhadzhian as the mandatory challenger. Now, this is reported by Jake Donovan as P2M Box Promotion won the purse bid for the supposed title defense between Jerron Ennis and Karen Chukhadzhian. They claim promotional rights with a bid of just a little bit over $2 million for the fight. Now, this is over what Matchroom Boxing put up as they bid a little bit under $1.6 million. Now, due to the IBF rules there when it comes to the mandatories, Ennis would be due to earn $1.3 million, and Chukhadzhian would get the rest of that money. That's for the bid. Now, reported by Jake Donovan there, Matchroom had sought to have the split adjusted to 90% to 10% in favor of Jerron Ennis, but the IBF had voted to keep it at 65-35. Now, the thing about it is, it's like, well, you have Jerron Ennis as that IBF champion, but it's crazy. And the IBF would have Karen Chukhadzhian as the mandatory challenger. Now, you go to what Karen Chukhadzhian basically did, up to this particular point, or at least since his loss to Jerron Ennis some time back. Hey, that was what, January 2023, when Jerron Boots Ennis pretty much swept, clean sweep in a 12-round bout, right? Now, ever since then, you had Karen Chukhadzhian in bouts against Michelle Moicano over in Madrid, Pietro Rossetti in Munich, Germany, and Harry Scarf over in Rothenbaum, Germany. So those are three bouts, right? So those three bouts, getting them to number one in the IBF, no. That ain't necessarily how that kind of like works out. Because, like I was mentioning here, Boots Ennis was supposed to face Cody Crowley at Wells Fargo Center in July. But Cody Crowley wasn't able to be cleared to fight. And Cody Crowley at the time was the top contender for the IBF. So when he was basically next out for that bout in July, that's why you had Jerron Boots Ennis face David Evangian in what would be a voluntary defense. Now, if it was Cody Crowley, that would have pretty much honored that IBF mandatory defense, and you would have had Jerron Ennis really being able to pursue a unification bout. But going through YSM Sports Media, shout out to YSM Sports Media, they were pursuing unification bouts through either Mario Barrios or through the thing there with yes, he did mention Brian Norman, but you also had it there with Iamana Stanionis, who is a WBA champion. Now, the thing with Brian Norman, as we mentioned earlier, that was pretty much like a last minute type of thing where, okay, you have this situation that's coming up with the IBF mandatory, but then you have the thing there with Brian Norman, and well, those particular talks kind of like became a little bit, publicized, and people, fans wanted to see how that fight was going to come about, but it didn't necessarily work out. And yes, Brian Norman will be involved in a fight card November 8th in Norfolk, Virginia, there as he faces Derek Cuevas, defending that WBO welterweight title. Now, in reference to this thing here with Boots Ennis, will he go forward with that bout against Karen Chukhadzhian? No, 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 no. I've said this multiple times. My source there has mentioned this multiple times. Jerome Boots Ennis is not going to be facing Karen Chukhadzhian, especially not for no $1.3 million, where they are planning to have a fight there at Wells Fargo Center on November 9th. Wells Fargo Center is open on that particular date. Hey, Philadelphia 76ers are pretty much going to be in the West Coast for that particular time period. So Wells Fargo is open for that. So in Boots Ennis' case, it's like, hey, why stay at welterweight here for a bout that nobody's really in much demand for, when I could go ahead and go up to 154 and face someone else, either pretty much for the same money or a little bit more money, and not have to worry about the IBF and pay a percentage to IBF. So that's why you're pretty much going to see here pretty soon that you're likely going to see Jerome Boots Ennis have his next bout in the super welterweight division. So that is that in reference to that particular purse bid. But there was another purse bid in the IBF dealing with a unified champion there in the middleweight division. Janibek Alimkhanuly, or Alimkhanuly, or whatever you want to call him, right? They went ahead and had a purse bid with Janibek and Andrei Mikhailovich, who is the IBF Mando there for middleweight. Now, they would have had about, earlier, what I'm saying? They would have had about earlier, but remember, Janibek was overweight, so that bout ended up being canceled. Now, they rescheduled everything, tried to reschedule everything, and now they had a purse bid for that. And guess what? The promoter for Andrei Mikhailovich, No Limit, not No Limit Studios, you know what I'm saying, Master P. Hey, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not that, you know what I'm saying? How you do that, duh? Nah, not that No Limit. All right. Who the hell? No, not that No Limit. Make them say, no, not that No Limit. All right. This is a whole different, company. Okay. They won this bid for Janibek versus Mikhailovich with 351 $351,000. Okay, I should necessarily, I'm sorry, y'all, I shouldn't necessarily be laughing about that. But thinking about how things is, the sport of boxing, $351,000 ain't a lot of money. At least for in boxing terms, to me, it ain't a lot of money at all. It ain't a lot of money. But what's interesting is they won the bid at 351K to beat the bid of Top Rank, who is Janibek's promoter, who bid 350K. And they said you can't even recall a bid decided by 1K. That's what Dan Rayfield said. So that's crazy. You got No Limit winning the bid at $351,000. Now, Janibek is the IBF and WBO middleweight champion. And you mean to tell me that Top Rank wasn't interested enough in putting up more than 350K for Janibek? Hey, listen. This is Janibek we're talking about. I'm sorry. This is Janibek we're talking about. Um, it's not like, there's enough interest there in Janibek. You probably could, check the ratings that are out there as far as like TV ratings. And Janibek, for Top Rank ESPN, he probably is among the lower, rated telecasts that they have there for Top Rank Boxing. When he's going up against the likes of Denzel Bentley, Stephen Butler, Vincenzo Gualtieri, they ain't gonna pull numbers. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna pull numbers. So here you would have had another one of those type of bout against Andrei Mikhailovich, and I guess Top Rank is saying, hey, listen, we might not have, a good date for this fight where we could get some good ratings out of it and get a good return off of what would be an investment there. But yeah, $351,000 for that particular bout. I had mentioned the whole thing in reference to the splits. That's 65-35. So, you could crunch the numbers. Let me see here, man. 300. Wait. So we got what? $351,000. I got the calculator right here. Okay. I got the calculator. $351,000. As I see it, right? And then we got 65%. So Janibek would be due $228,150. Now, mind you, he's the IBF and WBO middleweight champion. So he would have to give up percentages of that money towards the sanction bodies in order to, keep those belts. So you could get your 3% or your 4% or whatever it is. Let me see here. I'm gonna see here if I could get something on that. And so he would have to pay about $7,000 to keep them belts. So it'd be what, 14, almost like $14,000, just rounding up and all that stuff. So you had that 220 some thousand, and then you had to give up about 7,000 to keep your IBF and WBO belts if you were going to fight Andrei Mikhailovich. Yo, that's crazy work. That is crazy work. But like I said, Top Rank, I guess they didn't feel like Janibek having having enough behind Janibek to host this fight here, as they would have had it before, but it fell through. So I guess all that all that time, all those resources, everything like that, when it was originally scheduled, but it fell through. I guess Top Rank pretty much said, like, look, this ain't it. This ain't working. We can't do this, or we ain't gonna go that much higher or that high in order to host this bout. So, hey, one thing for, I guess, No Limit. Let's see if No Limit could go ahead and host this fight here. Like I said, with Andrei Mikhailovich. Now, like I said, you got the guy here with Alimkhanuly from Kazakhstan, right? And now, he's going to go up against Andrei Mikhailovich, who is, pretty much from or resides in New Zealand. It was born in Russia, and now is in New Zealand. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to have this thing over in Sydney, Australia, or something like that. I have no idea. That was the last bout that he had there was over in Sydney. That's for Mikhailovich. And let's see if they're going to have something like that happen here, if they're going to send Janibek over to Australia. But that's what I had there in reference to this. We're going to have the midweek report here scheduled for tomorrow. So y'all look forward to that. And once we get more information on what's going on with Boots Ennis or what's going on with Janibek, we'll have that here for you on the Boxing Source. But if you like the content, hit the like button. We're gonna get more updates here for you and everything like that. When it comes to news and all that type of stuff, when it comes to the sport of boxing. But I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.